And I'd like to give a huge thanks and shout out to Rock's Auto Exchange for allowing me to come out here in McCordsville, Indiana and film. Make sure you stop by their website, check out all their inventory. They have a great selection out here. All the contact information is on the screen below. 1993 marked the 40th anniversary of the Corvette, and of course Chevrolet offered a special package for both LT1 and ZR1 trims to mark this special anniversary. Once again, a huge thanks and shout out to Rock's Auto Exchange in McCordsville, Indiana for allowing me to film this car. While no performance upgrades came with the package, it did make for a unique Corvette. While the package was relatively inexpensive as far as packages go, not many 93s became 40th anniversary cars. Out of 21,590 Corvettes produced in 1993, only 6,749 were sold as 40th anniversaries. Chevrolet was able to boost performance from the 1992 Corvette by installing less restrictive air filters and redesigned intake plenums with larger diameter runners. With higher compression ratio as well, power went up from 245 horsepower to 300. The C4 is not body-on-frame, but rather a welded steel uniframe with fiberglass reinforced plastic bodies. The cars featured an aggressively styled driver-oriented cockpit interior, complete with typical GM-style analog instrumentation, with an LCD readout for speed and fuel level. Hey everyone, in today's in-depth walk-around review, we are taking a look at this absolutely stunning and gorgeous, very nice surviving example of a 1993 Chevrolet C4 Corvette. And today's Corvette happens to be the 40th anniversary edition, painted in the stunning 40th anniversary exclusive ruby red metallic, and it features the matching black and ruby red leather interior. Its full when new pricing is shown on screen, and a full options list is in the breakdown or description box below. This will be a full in-depth review. We're going to go over the exterior, the interior, luggage compartment, fuel economy, and all the mechanical and performance bits. Obviously, Corvettes are rear-wheel drive with power coming from a small block 350 cubic inch 5.7 liter pushrod 16 valve LT1 V8 engine. This engine is of iron block aluminum head construction with electronic sequential multi-port fuel injection and a 10.5 to 1 compression ratio. The engine creates 300 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 330 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPM. Road and Track magazine tested their Corvette from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.7 seconds. 0 to 100 miles per hour comes in 12.6 seconds with a quarter mile reached and 14.1 seconds at 102 miles per hour. Its top speed is estimated around 160 miles per hour. All C4 Corvettes in 1993 were equipped with 20 US gallon fuel capacities and consumed 5.6 gallons per 100 miles driven, with an estimated total driving range of 360 miles. EPA fuel economy figures are 15 miles per gallon city, 22 miles per gallon on the highway, with an average of 18 miles per gallon combined. While a fantastic 6-speed manual transmission was standard, sadly our car is not equipped as such. What we have instead is a 4-speed 700R4 automatic. In conjunction, we also have a 3-position selective ride control with Tour, Sport, and Performance modes for the suspension settings. We also have electronic acceleration slip regulation control. Anytime I get a chance to do a Corvette, I'm really excited. Even more so with the C4s. I've never done a 40th anniversary edition, so this is really exciting for me. I really do enjoy these cars. Alrighty, around the rear of the Corvette, the C4 in particular, as you can see, even though it has kind of a modern 90s look to it, it does retain a lot of that Corvette heritage styling. So as we walk along the sides, you'll see the steeply raked windshield going into this body color panel here, and of course into the iconic rear hatch as that flows down the rear of the car. We've got the very Corvette-esque quad circular tail lamps. When they updated the C4, they went from the perfectly round ones to these more rounded off rectangles. And then of course you have your third brake light here, Corvette here. You've got your reverse lamps and your license plate frame. And it wouldn't be a Corvette without complete dual exhaust down there. It is a heated rear glass window. Of course you also have your fuel door flap right there in the back. As we walk along the profile of the Corvette, you'll see it's a very sleek and aerodynamic, almost rocket-styled car. Very traditional Coke bottle shape. You can instantly tell it's a Corvette just by looking at it. Of course, I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the 80s, but grew up in the 90s, so this was the Corvette of my childhood. And I think everyone can actually relate to some sort of Corvette from their childhood, seeing that the Corvette is almost 70 years old now. Steering is hydraulically assisted variable rate rack and pinion with 2.3 turns lock to lock and a 40-foot turning radius. Wheels are staggered with 17-inch cast aluminums with fronts measuring 17 by 8.5 and rears coming in at 17 and 9.5. Tires are Continental Extreme Contact tires with fronts measuring 255/45 ZR17 and the rears are 285/40 ZR17s. Brakes are hydraulically assisted vacuum 4-wheel disc brakes with 12-inch ventilated rotors front and rear and are assisted by ABS and all-speed traction control. The brakes can halt the Corvette from 70 miles per hour and 173 feet. Very sleek aerodynamic front end with those headlights in the down position. Of course, when they're up, they look kind of goofy, but they do function. Headlamps on the C4 are retractable units that roll forward 180 degrees, which is unique as the C4 is the only car I've seen with this style retractable headlight. In addition, unbeknownst to me at the time, the C4 also has cornering lights, which activated with the headlamps and respective turn indication. Its idea was to help illuminate dark corners for better visibility. Taking a look at the Corvette from the front, the C4 retained the pop-up headlamps. They're just a halogen drop-in unit. You could buy those pretty much anywhere. And taking a look along the side, the aforementioned steeply raked windshield, the very aerodynamic mirrors. You got your 40th anniversary badging down here. You got your vents here behind the wheels, coming down the sleek clamshell hood, into the taillights themselves, and of course the lighting up front. You have your fog lamps here, front turn indicators, and of course your side indicators. In the middle, on the hood, got your Corvette logo. The front license plate panel has the Corvette logo emblazoned in it. The C4 happens to be one of my favorite Corvettes, and the 40th anniversary edition is my favorite even more so. Alright, now before we get inside, let's take a quick look at the keys that we have. Typical GM single-sided keys from the 90s. Does have the security chip in here, but just a standard GM key for the door or the ignition. And then of course you have the rounded key for your door locks and your trunk. And this key here actually unlocks the fuel door. But of course we've also got keyless remote entry in the standard Corvette key fob. You have your door locks and your hatch release. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look inside. No smart key access system here. Just lifting up on the handle. Opens up the fiberglass doors. They are very light. And inside we find the 40th anniversary ruby red and black leather interior. Taking a quick look at the door panels here. Everything is a nice soft touch vinyl material here. It's very soft, pliable. You got this molded plastic vinyl here, different texture from the red. And it's your armrest, your door pulls. Of course, you have your mirror controls and your power window controls. Illuminated entry light here, your body colored door pulls here, and your door lock controls. As you can see down below, it is carpeted in the same ruby red carpet, but there's no matte pockets. And you'll also notice the very high door sill. Taking a look at the instrument panel here on the driver's side, you have your anti-skid reduction or your traction control off button here. It turns it fully off, especially with the drive modes. Headlamp controls, instrument panel dimmer, fog lamp control, and looking down in the footwell, it is a very narrow footwell. But as you can see, only 2 pedals. Sadly, this car is not a manual transmission, it's just an automatic transmission. Got your handbrake here. Seat back adjuster here for the recline. We do have a leather wrap tilt steering wheel. And let's go ahead and take a look at the seats. They are the very aggressively bolstered sport bucket seats. They do have the 40th anniversary logo stitched in the head restraint. They've also got this thin shell plastic piece. As you can see here, very aggressive bolstering as stated before. Got this tuck and roll pleating here in the middle. The seats are actually very, very comfortable. You have multiple lumbar adjustments here. And of course your seat controls here. Just fore and aft, up and down and stuff like that. The seat back is actually just a manual recline. Alright, now that we're inside, let's take a look inside. A very tight steering at a standstill. Of course, it is vehicle speed sensitive. It does have a very nice, thick rimmed, leather wrapped steering wheel. It does have an airbag. There is no controls here except say for the horn switches on either side. It does say Corvette right up here on the airbag cover. And right along the tear stripe is the Corvette logo. Now we do have a very typical GM multifunction control stalk from the 90s. It integrates your wiper washer controls, your cruise controls, and your turn signals and brights. So cruise control is very easy to operate. You have off, on, resume, accelerate, and a set. So you just flip the switch to on, get to your desired speed, and hit the set button. If you want to accelerate, or if you press the brake to cancel, you can just hit the resume accelerate switch here, and it will resume back to your set speed. Of course, you have your wiper washer controls and your turn signal controls as well. Alright, now taking a look at the instrument cluster, it's very odd for a Corvette, but very much traditional 90s GM. You have this huge tachometer here, so it's a 6,000 RPM tach with a 5,500 RPM red line. In the center, you have your digital readout for your speedometer and your fuel gauge. You've also got your odometer. And at the time of the recording of this video, we got 30,951 miles. Now over here we have oil pressure and PSI. We have our oil temperature and degrees Fahrenheit, coolant temperature in degrees Fahrenheit, and our battery voltmeter. Now we've also got some additional readouts in this LCD cluster here. And by using the buttons on our trip monitor, you got your fuel info and your gauges. So we're going to press those. In the fuel information, we have our instant miles per gallon, our average, which is very, very bad right now, but we're just idling, and our range. Then if we go to gauges, it'll give a digital readout of our volts, oil temperature, and coolant temperature. In addition, you can also hit the English metric, and it will change from kilometers to miles per hour. All right, now moving over the top of the dash, as you can see, it's a very strangely styled dash, but it's very driver oriented. It's almost a cockpit feel, and it gets the job done. All right, so we have a large air vent here, our aforementioned trip monitors, so your fuel information, gauges, English metric, trip odometer, and our trip reset there. A bank of warning lights here, and you can see it does say service ride control. We do have a single zone or automatic climate control, so we can set our temperature. It'll also show our outside temperature. We can do our panel distribution here, set our fan speed, turn it to full auto, recirculate, defroster, and moving the shifter out of the way, take a look at the radio down here. It is the Delco Bose Gold Series AM/FM cassette player, no CD player in this car. So we have our bass, treble, our fade and balance, different tune buttons, AM/FM, all that kind of stuff in our presets. And of course we do have just our automatic transmission, 4-speed automatic. Behind this panel here are 2 cup holders, an insertable ashtray, and a cigar lighter. Down the center console, we have our power seat controls for the driver and passenger seat, and our ride control. So we have Tour, Sport, and Performance. Nice large padded center armrest. It is lockable. It does open up to reveal a trunk release, coin storage, some storage here and carpet, and a deep little storage well here. Overall, the interior is actually still a very nice place to be. It's a very light and airy cockpit, full of windows, so you can easily see out of it. It also has a removable hardtop as well. Taking a look overhead, we do have a manually dimming rearview mirror. This little switch here turns on the interior lights. And then of course we have our sun visors. They're very basic sun visors. They do feature illuminated vanity mirrors, however, which is a really nice touch. And the sun visors do fold down. Of course they do swing out, but they do not slide out, and there's no extensions. Alright, now there are several ways to open the hatch in this car. Of course, it's also easily accessible from behind the seats. It's actually completely open, as you can see here. Completely open between the 2 seats. But if you open up the center armrest, as we showed before, you have the rear release button here. Just press that button and it'll release the hatch. Additionally, I did not know this until just now, on the side of the driver's side door panel, you actually have a switch here. By pressing that switch down, it'll also release the latch. Alright, and the third and final way is by using the hatch release button on the key fob. Just by pressing the hatch release button here, it'll unrelease or unlatch that rear window. As you can see, it is a full glass. There's actually no, it's very thick. There's no steel frame for it. It is supported by these 2 hydraulic struts. And here is a quick look at the luggage area for the Corvette. This here is all for your top storage. This right here actually locks that top in place. And then here we do have the sales brochure, the car cover here. We have our service manuals, our 1993 Corvette video cassette tape, and our owner's manual pouch. We've also got our speakers back here, an amplifier for the Delco Bose system. And to close the hatch, you just lower it down here, and by using your hand right here where the latch plate is, make sure it's secured. Alright, and that does conclude with a huge thanks to Rock's Auto Exchange here in McCordsville. It does conclude our review of this very gorgeous 1993 Chevrolet Corvette 40th Anniversary Edition. We really hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/neighborhoodcarreviews and our Instagram channel as well. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.